Matt Kwan, just over here at the front. Congratulations on the win tonight. Talk to us a little bit about the emotion coming off of that win. Your last two went to split decisions. So what was the emotion like to finally get the finish here tonight?
I'm happy. I'm really happy that I took that decision 10 months ago. That I really start to live like a pro athlete, focused only for one thing, living for one thing. I sacrificed a lot for this fight. Gave my dog to my brother. I was constantly living just alone. Told my friend to leave me alone. Moved back to my mom's place. All the hard work eventually was paid off, so I'm really that I decided that to try one time to give everything that I ever have, and with this result I know I didn't take the wrong decision.
And you said before the fight that you had used your time away to get into boxing, amateur fights. But did you imagine that you would be pulling off the submission win here tonight?
Oh, definitely. I'm a wrestler. I've been doing that since age of 5, and anaconda choke is a hell of a choke. When I get that, I know it's tight.
Makwan, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
On a nice victory here in Stockholm. Tell me, which one do you rank the highest? Finland beating Sweden in hockey, or your win tonight?
Both of them. It was in Finland we were speaking about this fight a lot, and there was a 18 first-time player against Sweden and Russia, Canada. When they got that win, the whole country went crazy. Then all the pressure was on me. The whole country said it's your turn, and don't let them take this happiness away from us. And I said that will never happen, and I kept my word, and I'm so happy for me, for Finland, for Kurdistan. Happiest moment of my life at the moment.
You speak of sacrifices, your dog, moving back to mom. Now, what's changed with you as a fighter, opposite to who you were as a fighter, both mentally and what you do in the octagon?
When you become famous, everybody want a part of you. Everybody. And when I started, I was alone. Suddenly, everybody was around me. And my attitude changed at that point, because I knew that this is not real. The people who is with me all the time are not real. They were not there when I was at the lowest, but I shouldn't think that way, because that was me being childish, and that made me a bit negative. But I changed my attitude, everything, became a more positive person, started to be again a role model to all the young people, all the Kurdish people. Now they have a superstar to look up to, and by changing my attitude to positive from negative, everything was starting to, going in the way that it should be, and I don't want to change my attitude ever again. This is how I should be for the rest of my life.
Hi, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
And speaking of being role model, there was a lot of conversation about your Instagram and back and forth with your ex-opponent. And would you say that was completely just your plan for his mental games, and it has nothing to do personally with him?
Oh, definitely. I respect Chris Fishgold. I respect every person who steps into the octagon, especially against me. Without Chris, this moment wouldn't be happening, and getting to his head during the fight week, before the fight, was just part of my plan. When the fight starts, like I said, I've been doing this since the age of 5, and I was taught to respect my opponent and everybody who is doing mixed martial arts, wrestling, any kind of sport. So when the fight starts, I have all the respect to my opponent.
After the Hockey World Championships, my friend, a lot of hockey fans learned the meaning of the word sisu. Could you explain to fight fans what the word sisu means to Finnish people and how it applies to you as a fighter?
Sisu means not giving up. It means being a Finnish warrior. Being a foreign in Finland and getting this kind of support from Finland is not unusual. So it's changed a lot of things in Finland, not just for me, but for the rest of the refugees in Finland and people who moved out from other countries to Finland. It's good to raise their flag and show the respect and be grateful that we got a new home in Finland, to me, to my family. So that's what Sisu is.
And of course, the Kurdish people are very proud people as well. Do you have any message for your Kurdish fans around the world and here in Sweden and back home in Finland?
Kurdish people, they always say Biji Kurdistan. That means that Kurdish people will never die. Me, as a Kurdish person, being in this stage means a lot for the Kurdish people. I think in the future we will see a lot of Kurdish superstars in MMA and anything. Thank you.
Mike 1, ahead of this fight, ahead of this fight, you said that you'd like to fight in the US next. Is that a priority now, heading into your next fight?
Definitely. Let's get to the big league. I'm ready to go to US. I'm ready to fight anybody. So that's the place where I want to fight next.
Is there anyone in particular that you'd like to fight from the US? I mean, it's been majority, apart from Jason Knight, it's been European opponents for the most part.
I'm open-minded. Anybody who is willing to face Mr. Finland, I'm ready to step in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mac 1, back here. I'm just reading you got a performance of the night. And there was a lot made when you made your UFC debut and got performance of the night, the $50,000 you were going to buy your mother a bed. I know that eventually got donated, but do you have any plans for this $50,000?
Yeah, I got plans. A year ago, I went to a restaurant to eat, and I saw the owner of the restaurant being really there was no customers, but it was next to my building. I said, do you need some help with the decoration and changing a bit of, getting a modern restaurant? And he said, why not? I made a few phone calls. All my friends were there. We made a renovate, and he asked me that, do you want half of the restaurant? I said, well, let's see later. And 3 months I was helping him, and there was one day when I was sitting in the floor, we were painting and everything, and then I was thinking that, what am I doing? This is not the place where I should be. I did the whole job. I said, I don't want anything from the restaurant. Keep it. I hope everything goes well, and it did. The restaurant is going well now. It's one of my favorite places. I know that he was Kurdish. I know Kurdish food is good. So since that day when I decided that I don't want to be a part of this business, I just want to train. That's my passion, and I know that I have something that most people are ready to die for. So that's it. That was the day when I started. Woke up early, went for a run. Immediately after a run, went for a gym, 3-4 hours there. Came back, my mom made some food, I ate. I was resting a bit, packed my stuff again, went for a boxing gym. Trained there 2 hours, 10 months non-stop, did this. And this is the result.
Muokkaan täältä vielä yksi kysymys välissä suomeksi. Mä sain luvan kysyä, odota ihan pieni. Eli ihan lyhyys kysymys, jos voisit vielä suomeksi kerrata matsia, että mitkä on fiilikset tällä hetkellä?
Hyvät. En antanut Chris Fishgoldin pilata Leijonien juhlat jatkukaa.
Toinen vielä, olet sanonut aikaisemminkin, että seuraava matsi tulee pian, mutta on tullut pitkä tauko. Miten se tällä kertaa?
I said this before and I'm willing to say it again. Mr. Finland is ready to fight anybody anytime. I'm not going to take a big break anymore, so let's keep the momentum going.
Thank you.
Kiitos. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Alexander. A huge win, perhaps the biggest statement made, considering how fast and how violent it was. You've had some time to process it and now digest your win. How do you feel about your performance? And, you know, you talked a little bit about wanting a top-tier opponent. After seeing the main event unfold, do you have any more precise indications of who exactly you want to fight?
I just beat Jimmy. I'm gonna take his place in the rankings. So there's just a couple of more guys in front of me in the rankings, and I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm focusing to the top, and the guys recognize me and they know they're gonna fight me sooner or later. So yeah, I don't care. Just he has to be better ranked than me and to get to the top.
And obviously you don't seem to have any injuries whatsoever. We know that the UFC is coming to Denmark in September, but do you feel like you want to fight before then? Maybe the US, maybe Las Vegas?
I was supposed, I want to keep busy, but I'm gonna take the summer off. This is my third fight in 1 year. So I'm gonna take the summer off to be with my wife. She's pregnant. We're gonna get a baby boy in September. So I have to be a little bit with my family, but I'm gonna keep training hard and improving all my skills to be to getting better and better, and to show in the next fight that I'm a better version than today.
And much like Makon Amerikani, who represents both, you know, Kurdish people and Finland, you also represent the Balkans and Austria.
Yes.
How are those local MMA scenes growing, and how much do you feel that you have impacted those MMA scenes?
Oh man, I get a lot of support from the Balkan, Yugoslavia, like Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia. They are my roots and I love my country. But I live in Vienna, Austria, and I raised there, and I start my career there. And my dream is to bring UFC to Vienna, or even to the Balkan, to Serbia, Croatia, like Gustafsson does it for Stockholm. He made MMA popular here in Sweden, and that's what I want to do in my countries, Austria or the Balkan.
And final question, you mentioned Gustafsson. Perhaps you also saw he seemed to announce his retirement tonight. What's your impression of Gustafsson as a fighter, and is he someone that you perhaps have taken inspiration from in your career?
Of course, I know Gustafsson for a long time. I'm following his career a long time, and I was training with him 4 years ago, just a couple of days. He was I think he's one of my idols, and he did he had a great career. The fight against John Jones, the first fight, and the fight against DC was amazing, and nothing just of respect of Gustafsson. And yeah, he chose to retire, and he knows what's good for him, and yeah, I like him.
Alex, ahead of this fight, you told me that you would make a statement, and the world would remember your name after your performance. Do you feel as though you've done that?
Absolutely. I've been working so hard for not just for this fight, for every fight, for my whole career. I've been working for this, and this is my place, and I'm born for it, to be a champion one day.
Did you expect such a devastating knockout? I mean, I think it shocked a lot of people what you did in there tonight.
Of course. I had a lot of fights in kickboxing, and I knocked many people out with that kick. And also in my last camp, I knocked some guys out with that kick. And I've been training this all the time, so I'm not surprised. I knew it. I thought I would think to do it in the second round, but it happened in the first. Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi,
You're welcome.
down here.
Hey.
You've trained before with Jimmy in the past. You just said there about that head kick. Did you know that opening was going to be there?
I was training with Jimmy 4 years ago, but we just trained a couple of days here in Sweden in the All-Star gym, and I was a kid. I mean, I was growing in these 4 years. I was growing and getting better and better, but every time I go to sleep, I think about that fight, not just about this fight, about upcoming fights, and I visualize every combination I'm gonna throw, and this is one of my favorite combinations, to fake the takedown and come with the right uppercut and the left high kick, and it's nothing new to me. I did it a couple of times, and yeah, I have to think another combination to surprise my next opponent.
This was your first ranked opponent, number 11.
Yeah.
You obviously said there about taking his place and fighting someone else in the top 10. But what do you see in your future? How long do you think it would take you to get to the top of the division?
I think to fight for the title, I need a couple of more fights. I need to improve all my skills, because to take a title fight against John Jones or someone else, it's hard. You have to be prepared, not 100%. You have to be prepared 200%. And I'm 27 years old. I don't want to rush. I have plenty of time. And you see, after every fight in the UFC, I'm getting better and better. And I don't want to rush. I have a great team behind me. My coaches are amazing. We do an amazing job. We study. When I signed to the UFC, we already start to study every potential opponent, and my coaches are studying the top 15 already for a year now, and we're watching all the fights. And I need time, a couple of more fights, but I'm gonna be soon. I'm gonna get the title shot and the win.
Alexander, talk us please through the moment of the knockout, because you had a possibility to punch Jimmy in the face when he was out on the ground, but because of the referee interference was a bit slow. Why did you decide to go a walk-off KO?
When you punch someone, and it lands right on the spot, you feel it. You feel it right away. He's not gonna stand up, and this was like that. I punched him with the left high kick, and I kicked so many guys with that kick, and I have the feeling when the kick is good or not, and it doesn't. I don't need to punch him when he's on the ground. I saw on his face he was done, and I respect Jimmy. I train with him, and all the time when I'm seeing him in some UFC events, I talk to him, we talk a little bit, so this is just about business, nothing else.
Alexander, obviously, as you mentioned yourself, this win skyrocketed you after beating Manua. Now, if you would just visualize short after this fight, if you would climb all the way up to a title fight against John Jones, what kind of obstacles would you put in front of him that would make it a hard fight night for him?
I'm an all-rounded fighter like him, so it's gonna be it would be a great fight to fight him. I study. I watch John Jones for a long time, and I think for now, what I can say now, the advantage I have over him is my footwork and my speed on the punches. I think I'm much faster than him, and I have more power to finish a fight with one punch and the footwork.
And finally, from me, Croatia, Yugoslavia has had great fighters, Krokop in the past, obviously, and Miocic, you just mentioned one of them, and all of a sudden you boom-banged yourself on high, skyrocketed yourself to the rankings. Are you being compared to one of these Balkan fighters?
Krokop is a legend of the sport, but this guy does for MMA, and he's like a star in the Balkan. And of course, they not compare me with him or with Stipe, but give me a couple of more fights and couple of more wins and knockouts, and then I'm gonna reach maybe. But Krokop is a star. I respect him. He's one of my idols. I was a kid. I was watching him in Pride. So what he does to the Balkan MMA, I think nobody can do it.
Alexander, are there any prospects from the Balkans, the young MMA fighters, would you recommend UFC to sign with?
There have plenty of them. That's the reason I want to bring UFC. I mean, UFC was in Zagreb, in Croatia, I think 3-4 years ago. They have to come there, and we have there very, very good fighters with heart, and we are growing. We are growing in the whole Europe, in the Eastern Europe. They are really growing. Now we have some good wrestling and grappling and striking over there, and these kids, these guys are on fire. They have heart. They are motivated. They go in to live their soul, and they need a chance, of course. So I would be happy if UFC comes, even to Vienna. Also in Vienna we have good prospects there, and I want to make MMA more popular in Austria and in the Balkan.
What do you think about the MMA in Austria for now? Is it a popular sport, like in top 5, or maybe not as much?
Not as much. Austria is more about soccer and all about skiing. So I want to be the ambassador for MMA in Austria, to make it popular, to everybody knows what's MMA, and we are growing. We are now 3 fighters from Austria. They're on the contract with the UFC, and I think we're gonna be many more if we keep doing like that. So we are growing.
Did you face any interest in terms of Austrian sports media coming into this fight?
I was like a little bit surprised because they didn't support the MMA so much, and that makes me a little bit sad. I was talking to my coaches, and the Austrian media makes me really sad, because I just beat a top contender, and I am now a problem for the division. And there are a couple of guys and couple of media there who is interesting in me, but there can be a lot of more.
Have you got any direct message for them after this win?
I hope they open their eyes and realize MMA is a sport and not just a brutal fight.
Thank you for me.
You're welcome.
So congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What up, folks? Oh, don't be so sad. Come on. Oh, is this thing on? All right.
Guess I'll start things off.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, quite a way to, silence the Globe Arena.
Yeah.
What do you say about that win?
I think it's absolutely the biggest of my career. Probably the one that I'm most proud of, just because of what happened in my last fight, and typically guys that come off of title losses don't bounce back like that. A lot of times you see guys come off of title losses and they lose another one after that, and it takes a while to get back on that horse. So just being able to battle through, and just, I don't know, man, just coming here, I didn't really feel like I was in enemy territory, but I absolutely could tell that he was the favorite. You know what I mean? I mean, they're happy to see him. So I was just relieved to get in and get out of there with the W, and I'm just excited to go home.
Now, you and your Swedish opponent who you defeated, you had one thing in common, both up against John Jones in your latest fight.
Yeah.
How did you pick up the scraps after your defeat to come back and go up against a contender or high-ranked fighter?
Listen, nothing in my entire life has ever come easy for me. If you go back and look at my career, there's been lots of ups and there's been lots of downs. And we can all sit around and think about things when they're not going our way. And we can blame people and we can point fingers and you can try to make excuses. But the sooner you decide that you're done making excuses and you just want to figure it out, then you just got to shut up and put your head down and do it. I just put my head down and I just grind. I've said it before and I'll say it now. I'm gonna be a world champion or I'm gonna die trying. I'm not gonna stop. So all these people that keep talking about me being a fluke or a flash in the pan, you guys are doing yourself a disservice, because I'm coming and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not. Until there's a gold belt around my waist, then you can start thinking about what Anthony Smith is going to do next. But until then, it's coming forward and swinging hammers, and I'm going to do what I got to do to get the W. And it's not always pretty. I'm not the prettiest fighter in the world, but I don't have to be, because obviously I can beat the best guys in the world doing it my way.
And finally, from me, obviously, as your nickname, Lionheart, you showed Heart of a Lion. You came to Swedish territory, you defeated the most acclaimed Swedish fighter. Now, what happens for Alex, do you think? Where do you see him? Like, is he really retiring?
I really hope not. I do. I've said it to him twice since he did it. He's got a lot to give. He's got a lot left, and I've seen it firsthand. He's got a lot left, and I just hope that he doesn't look at a loss like me, or to me, as something super negative, because like I've said about everyone else, I think that people are having a hard time getting used to me being at the top. And I don't think that me beating him is a reflection of him falling off the wagon or him losing his edge or not being good anymore. It's not it. It's just I'm just not going to be turned away, and I think that this, I hope that he can look at it like that, and it's not, it sounds silly, but it's not you, it's me, and that's really how I feel about it.
Anthony, just down here.
Please scream.
Hi.
MMA crazy.
Yeah. And thank you. And I was actually going to say, in our pre-fight interview, you told me right after, I'll see you at the post-fight press conference.
I did tell you that before I left, huh?
Why were you so confident?
Because I know how I felt after the John fight, and I know the work that Scott Morton and Mark Montoya and all my teammates and family members at Factory X and Danny Molina, I know the work that we put in, and I know that I was 100% prepared for anything, and that and I know my mindset. You know, I just know that there was nothing he was going to do that was going to get me out of there. You know, I said I was going to march across the cage and I was going to find him eventually, and I was going to do what I had to do to get the win. I mean, I don't know. I just felt it all week long that something really cool was going to happen.
And you also said that you wanted to get back to your old self. Did you feel that in there? Did you feel like you were back to your old self?
I think approach-wise, yeah. You know, I think that I started a little slow, but I think a lot of that had to do with my mindset of just trying to, I didn't overthink it in training camp, if that makes any sense. I didn't overthink what I thought he was going to do or anything like that. Like we obviously addressed the things that he's really good at. Mark Montoya had a really good plan for all the things that he's good at. We had some ideas of where we wanted to go in the places that we think that there was some holes, but I didn't overthink it. You know, like I really didn't think about him that much. It wasn't. I didn't really run through the fight through my head a bunch of times like I typically do. I just kind of focused on myself. So because I did that, I kind of had to figure it out as I went. And you know, I would see the uppercut that Mark was talking about. You know, I'm like, oh, there it is. You know, so I kind of had to see it first and feel him out. And, you know, so it did start a little bit slow. And he did a lot of good things in there that I had to deal with. That was a problem. So. I don't know. I just felt it. You know, I felt it as soon as I started warming up. I don't know. I was just on. You know, I just felt it.
And I was just curious because there were a couple of times that you glanced over to your corner. Was that just to do with instructions, or what was that?
Well, to be honest with you, the crowd was super, super loud. And it was just tuned in to what they were saying so closely, but a lot of times I couldn't quite catch the end of it. So I would take a step back, you know, look over at Mark. He'd repeat it really quick. Sometimes it's easier to see things or hear something that someone's saying if you can kind of see their lips moving, you know. I've never done that before. I've never like really been that tuned into what he was saying. A lot of times it's, you know, you hear it and you're like, you know, you kind of check it in the back of your head and then you just do it or whatever. But I don't know, I was just really tuned in. You know, I was just on tonight. I was just really, really on. And I think that the way that I approached the fight, I think my mindset that I had in training, I think all that stuff had a lot to do with that.
So you can safely say you have that bad feeling out of your stomach from your previous fight?
Well, not completely. You know, which is kind of indicative to my whole life. Like, I think that I got the answer, what's going to make it go away, and it never really does. So I'm very happy right now, and I'm going to sleep good tonight. I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to do from here on out and not lose sleep over it. But we got to get better, you know, because I didn't do everything I wanted to do, you know. There's a couple combinations that the coaches really wanted me to throw, and that I kind of did, and it was a little bit sloppy, and then we were trying to clean it up, and like I didn't do as well as I wanted to do technically, so it's a little frustrating, but you know, we'll figure it out. We'll work it out. You know, I'll figure it out. I always do. Thank you.
Hi, Anthony. Right here.
Gotcha, my man.
During the fight,
this guy's everywhere. He's all over the place.
During the fight and during the fight week, I noticed that you might have a runny nose, and I just wanted to ask if you suffered any illness before the fight. No,
I got a deviated septum. I've just had my nose broken a couple times, so my nose just runs a lot. Plus, my allergies are bad, and for whatever reason, here in Stockholm, my allergies are really bad. So I'm just constantly sniffling around like a little kid.
And what about your hand? Do you have any diagnosis coming from the doctors?
My hand?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just figure it out. It hurts, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to just wait till I get home and see what it looks like on Monday.
So Anthony, ever since your win over Shogun in Hamburg, you were open to fighting Alexander Gustafsson. Mm-hmm. You said you were willing to step up, face him on short notice.
Thank God I didn't fight him then. Honestly, like I think I've gotten a whole lot better since then. But I think everything happens for a reason. I honestly think that it's really fortunate that I didn't fight him at that time, because I'm not sure how I would have done then. You know, I think that I'm growing really, really fast, especially at this point in my career. But I can be honest with you guys enough to say that I think that would have been a much, much tougher fight back then than it just was. I think that having the training camp I had against John, I think I grew a lot. You know, the same with the Vulcan fight, and but I'm happy that I fought him now and not then.
Well, I guess that partially answers my question. But what I was wondering was how much this performance and this fight sort of lived up to the expectations or the thoughts that you've had about the potential fight with Gustafsson since then.
He was pretty much what I expected. You know, he was probably a little bit better than I expected. He's faster than I thought. And I don't know how exciting the fight was. You know, like kind of when you're in it, you know, it's hard to tell. So, I mean, I guess you guys would have to tell me. I don't know how exciting it was as far as from a fan's point of view, but it felt like we were in there getting after it. But, you know, sometimes you feel one way and it looks another.
And how much did the hand injury affect you, both your tactics and technique during the fight and just your overall feeling?
Not, unfortunately, not at all. I knew it was hurt, but you know, and Mark Montoya said, "Well, we're gonna start throwing elbows," and I did, and I just kept swinging it, you know, because I'm just that's just my mentality. Like if it's already broken, it's not like I'm gonna break it anywhere. So I just kept throwing it, you know. Which I don't know. We'll see what it looks like afterwards. I'm sure the doctors will tell me that's not the smartest thing, but I wish I would have been able to throw some more elbows, though. You know, that was something that we wanted to do in the fight that I didn't get to do a whole lot. But yeah, I'll get home Monday and we'll figure it out.
And the finish there, it was a little bit. Perhaps it was due to the crowd or the angle where I was sitting. It was a little hard to see exactly what was going on. Were you sure that you were going to get the submission when you started locking it down?
Yeah, for sure. As soon as I got the body triangle, and then as soon as I got both hooks in, I knew that it was over. Especially with that much time left on the clock. I don't know exactly how much time was left, but I knew that it was enough time. If I take your back, for the most part, like you're probably just done. I mean, that's just how it is. You know, I'm a legitimate black belt in the gi under Scott Morton, and I've been with this same jiu-jitsu coach for 12 or 13 years. You know, I can grapple in it, and I think people are starting to figure that out now. But that's in the last 4 fights, it's 2 backs I've taken. That's 2 finishes. You know, like you're probably just not going to get away. It's just how it goes.
And finally, there's a lot of changes coming to the light heavyweight division, and we see guys like Jimmy Manuwa and Gustafsson sort of falling down a bit through the ranks, and then guys like Alexander Gustafsson and Johnny Walker, you know, going higher. Where do you see the future of the division going, and where do you see like your next matchup coming from?
Honestly, like I told you guys before, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. But I'll tell you the same thing I told John. I'll see him again, and that's what I'm working towards. I'm working towards the fight with John Jones. I want to get back to that title shot, and that's my plan. That's the goal. So whatever that looks like, when I come back, you know, figure out what this hand injury is all about, and we'll just go from there. But I mean, that's what I want. I mean, I wouldn't still be here if I wasn't still chasing John Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anthony, just a quick question. Pardon me, about the early rounds of the fight. I found it fascinating to watch your footwork and Alex's footwork and how the two of you managed the distance. And when you loaded up, you just came up a little bit short all the time. Was that something to do with your hand? Was it his head movement? How did that play out for you in there?
No, you know, this would be a perfect opportunity for me to give myself a rub, but that's him. That's him. He's very, very good at what he does. You know, I talked a lot about his movement and how that was going to be something to deal with, but you're right. There was a couple that I could almost feel I could feel his hair on his chin, or I could just catch a little bit of skin, you know, just 1 inch further, and I think that all looks different. But that's what he does. That's what he's so great at. That's what he's built his career off of. You know, and he did a great job again. You know, that's why I'm so disappointed that you talked about retirement, because I don't feel like he was missing a step at all. I think he looked as good as he ever has. You know, I just was able to win the scramble in that position, and that's how this game is. You know, that there's the most consequences in this sport than there is in any other sport. You know, you make one mistake and that's it. You know, it doesn't matter what other sport you want to talk about. You can, in American football, you can have a bad series and still win the game. It's the same with basketball. You can have a bad possession and still win a game. You can't make you can't make one mistake in an MMA fight at this level and still win. It just doesn't work like that.
On that very subject, were you surprised that Alex went for that takedown? Because the takedown he went for kind of went wrong, and that was where you took his back. Were you surprised that he was willing to go to the ground with you?
No, not at all. He's a well-rounded fighter, you know, and he got a takedown in the round previous. So I think a lot of times when the striking battle starts to become too close, that's how he wants to even it up and at least pull ahead a little bit. And it was a great takedown in the round previous to that. You know, he surprised me. You know, I wasn't expecting that type of a takedown. He kind of stepped behind me, so he almost tried to do the exact same takedown again. But I was ready for it because now I knew. All right, and like now he feels like the striking is getting too close for his comfort. He's gonna want to get some takedowns and try to pull ahead. So I was ready for it. I was able to get the scramble and come to his back.
And finally, what makes it so inevitable when you take somebody's back that you're going to end up choking them out?
that's Scott Morton 101. That's my jiu-jitsu coach. That's just my game. You know, like every fighter, specifically grapplers, have their style. You know, they have their game that works for them, and the rest of their jiu-jitsu is kind of worked around getting to that position. And mine has and always probably will be getting to someone's back. And once I get there, you know, I have long legs. I'm able to lock up the body triangle. I can stop you from turning. You know, he tried really, really hard to turn to his back and give up the mount. But that's just how it is. You know, eventually, if I have enough time, I'll choke you, and that's just how it is. And it's, you know, and that's just the game. You know, like had we been in another position, he might have gotten right back to his feet. You know, it's just we just happen to end up in my A game. Thank you.
Hello. Congratulations on your win. You gave us a fantastic show tonight.
Thank you.
And in a pre-fight interview, you said that you are a type of fighter who learns on the job. You are constantly evolving. Mm-hmm. So what do you take from this night? What have you learned both professionally and personally?
Professionally, I learned I need to really work on being a better offensive wrestler. I need to be able to threaten another, because my jiu-jitsu is good, right? But so far it's been mostly off of defensive wrestling. So I need to be a better offensive wrestler. I need to give that threat of the takedown to get to the top on my terms and not kind of on everyone else's. Because that takedown in that whole series, the end of the fight, was on his terms. I didn't initiate that. That was him. So I need to be better there. You know, if I'm going to pick out one thing I want to be better at, that's probably it. Personally, you know, I think I worked through a lot of skeletons in my closet as far as how I felt emotionally and just, you know, I just got this monkey off my back that I feel like I've been carrying around this dark cloud with me the whole time, you know. So I think I'll probably be a much more enjoyable person to be around for a little while.
Anthony, one question which our followers and readers and MMA fans in Poland wanted me to ask you about. We have a number 6 light heavyweight in ranking, Jan Blachowicz. I wanted to ask you, do you consider him as a potential opponent? And are you keeping your eye on his upcoming bout versus Luke Rockhold, who is coming up to knock the door at light heavyweight? What's your pick on it?
Yeah, no, I absolutely keep my eye on that fight a little bit. I think Jan's really good. I think he's a very similar fighter to Gus. You know, he's a really good boxer. You know, he's very, very good on his feet, and he does very well on the ground too. So that's another guy that I would like to fight at some point in time if that's what comes up. You know, and honestly, I think he's in a very winnable fight. So we'll see what that looks like. You know, I'm not going to get into a back and forth with. I mean, it's a good position to be in. I can just sit at the top and let those guys fight it out. So I'm going to hang out up here for a while and do my thing, and we'll see what it looks like later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All good?
All good? Awesome. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you.
Just don't take it off yet.
Okay, guys, let's make this quick.
Yeah, hi, Alex. As requested, I'll take these questions in Swedish and English.
Yes.
The fight kind of started slowly in the first 2 rounds, and then you both guys let have it go a bit more, and with the punch exchanges. What happened in the 3rd and 4th round, and when the finish came? Vad hände på slutet där? I första 2 ronderna var det lite avvaktande, och sen rond 3 och 4 blev det lite mer fyrverkeri i buren. Men vad hände på slutet där?
Ska jag svara på det så engelska som
svenska?
Ja. Nej, jag hade tålamod bara. Jag tänkte han får vinna första och andra. Han kommer ut alltid starkt och är tuff i början, så tänkte jag, sen jobbar jag ut honom bara mer och mer. Och så gick jag på en nedtagning som fallerade helt och hållet. Jag gjorde helt fel. Hade en helt fel reaktion när han tog ner på backen och gav han ryggen. Och killen är tuff på topp och fick sin chans och tog den såklart.
Vad var game plan för den här matchen? What was the game plan for Anthony Smith?
Nej, men det var tålamod och sakta men säkert jobba ut honom i 5 ronder.
Och du la ner handskarna i buren och sa att det är slut nu. Showen är över. You put down your gloves in the octagon and you said the show is over. Now, are you completely sure?
Ja. Det har varit ett äventyr, men nu är det slut.
Finally from me, du pratar om att det har varit ett äventyr. De främsta minnena, är det någonting som du kan blicka tillbaka på nu i hela din UFC-resa? Now, you're talking about an adventure that's been around for you for your UFC journey. Is there any specific memory that, you know, is most clear to you sitting here with us now?
Alla matcher har jag ett minne av, och man har rest jorden runt och man har fått tävlat hemma i Sverige vad blir det, 3 gånger eller vad blir det, 4, 3 i alla fall. Så det har varit en otrolig resa bara, och jag är tacksam för att få vara med om den här resan och få bilda mig ett liv tack vare den här sporten och UFC som en arbetsgivare. Så vi har haft det riktigt bra generellt. Det har varit ups and downs, men det är inget jag håller på med. Jag är 32 bast, jag har 2 barn. Jag har inte liv med längre, det är det jag känner. Jag är mycket bättre än jag visar idag. Men det är så här där.
Hello, Alex. We're here. It looked like you couldn't quite find the distance during the fight. What was going on? What happened?
No, I just had patience with the guy, and I was aware of that he was picking points in the first couple of rounds. But my plan was to outwork him in the later rounds. But I did some stupid things on the ground, and he caught me. So it is what it is.
Is there anything positive that you're taking out of tonight's fight?
Yeah, absolutely. The arena was full, and it was great to hear the crowd going crazy when I was going to the octagon. So it was an amazing time until the outcome of the fight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, would a victory tonight have changed your decision to retire?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't know if you're aware, but both Anthony Smith, John Jones, several fighters have all said, you know, they're hoping this is not the end. They would love to see you fight again. I know obviously it's tough losing on home ground, but is there any part of you that feels that this might not be over?
I'm feeling that it's pretty much a done deal. You know, if you don't feel that you have it in you anymore, it is what it is. It's nothing that I had 3 title fights. Like I said, it's been a great journey, and this is it.
And what will I can imagine you won't leave martial arts completely. Do you feel like you'll have some kind of coaching role or something like that going?
Let's see what happens. Let's see. I'm pretty happy with that life I'm living right now, and let's see what next chapter will be. I'm a part owner of the All Stars, so of course I will be involved in the sport. But what I will do, it's unclear yet. Let's see. I have to sit and talk to it's so fresh. It's still so fresh. I have to sit down with my team and see what's the next couple of steps going to be.
Thank you for all fights. Hade det inte varit för din match mot Thiago Silva, jag hade nog inte suttit här.
Tack så mycket. Tack.
Alex, you seem, just over here to your right hand side, you seem very relaxed in this camp and coming up to this fight. When did you start to think that this might be the beginning of the end, that you might leave your gloves on the mat here tonight? Was that a spur of the moment decision, or have you been thinking about it for a while?
Yes, since my last loss against John, I feel that I don't do this for money or because because of anything else. I do this because I want to be the best, and I want to beat the best, and if I can't do that, then it is what it is. And I lost to John. That was the 3rd fight, title fight, and I felt like because I got a little bit of an injury in that fight, and I felt like I didn't really show what I was. My capacity really, so I had some hope in me still, and felt that this Anthony Smith would be a great comeback to come back and start climbing again but now I lose to Anthony too, so it feels like I don't have it in me anymore. You know, it's a receipt. I mean, like it's like a confirmation to myself that because I have lost my 3 title fights, it is what it is. So.
And how do you think you will be remembered in Scandinavian MMA if this is the end?
No idea. Let's see what people say. I don't know. It's just been an honor and pleasure to be able to represent Sweden and Scandinavia and, on the top level of fighting.
I'll remember you as a great fighter and a great guy. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Alex, just down here at the front, just down here. Were your team aware that this was a decision you would make if you came up short tonight?
No, they weren't. But I mean, like I can't. It has to come out in some way, and I felt that it's an honorable way for me to tell the crowd and the audience here tonight that this is a decision I made, and I'm going to sit down with the team, of course, also, and we see what the next couple of steps going to be. It's still so fresh and everything, but I feel deep inside that I've been digging hard. I've been training hard. I was so ready for this fight. I was so relaxed and calm, and it wasn't enough. It was still not enough. So I don't know what to do to start winning again. And if I had that feeling in me, then it's no point for me to continue.
Looking back on your career, are there any kind of moments that stick out for you, maybe inside the octagon and then maybe even, outside of it?
Sorry?
Are there any moments in your career that kind of stick out to you, good memories?
Yeah, I got lots of good memories. I've been, like I said before, I've been traveling the world doing this. I've seen so many good places. I have so much new friends in my life, yeah, well, I'm living a life today that I'm very pleased with and happy with because of the UFC and the sport. So I'm very thankful. I have 2 really good wins here in the globe, which I will have with me the rest of my life. So it's been a great journey.
Thank you very much.
Alex här. Först och främst stort grattis till en fantastisk karriär. Hela Sverige är stolt över dig. Du har ju varit Sveriges i särklass största och mest framgångsrika MMA-stjärna. Nu lägger du handskarna på hyllan. Vem från Sverige tror du tar över som Sveriges största stjärna nu efter dig? So Alex, congratulations on a good, fantastic career. Sweden is proud of you. Now when you are retiring, who do you think is going to take over as the next big MMA star in Sweden?
We have very good athletes coming up, new prospects. Ska jag prata svenska eller?
Svar på svenska eller?
Ja, vi har grymma talanger. Folk som har UFC-kontrakt idag, som Jack till exempel och sådär. Grymma talanger som är på G upp och levererar bra. Och min personliga favorit Kamsat här, Bors. Jag tränar med varje dag och en topptalang. Jag har aldrig tränat med som bra kille tidigare, så att stora förhoppningar där, och det ser ljust ut. Jag menar, vi har bra gym överallt, det är bra organiserat med träningar och på alla gym, och bra talanger och bra coacher, och vi har världens bästa team här. Så det ser väldigt ljust ut. Jag kommer att finnas där i något hörn.
Låt lovande. Tack Alex.
Tack. Okay guys, I'm done. Thank you so much.